Today, I'm going to enlighten you with some of the most ridiculous Ark tips you've ever heard. First of all, you gotta know, never trust a Dodo. Those fluffy marshmallows are the masterminds behind every disaster, so always watch your back when there's a Dodo nearby. When you tame your first Dodo, name that Dodo Hope, so when it inevitably gets devoured, you can dramatically announce, "Hope is lost," and truly embrace that feeling. You should also know at this point that dying happens a lot in Ark, but if you max out your weight stat, you can carry all your regrets when you inevitably lose everything in Ark. It is the perfect counter for all your emotional Ark baggage. Ark, unlike other survival games, doesn't really let you sleep, so if you're a fan of naps and games, then narcoberries are your new best friends. They are perfect for waking up in the exact same spot many minutes later. The Giga is one of the most terrifying creatures in Ark. When you encounter Giga, don't fight it. Just play dead. It is way less scary to be eaten if you're pretending to be a delicious snack. However, sometimes you do need to run. Remember, clothes, though, are just extra weight when you're sprinting, so if you're getting chased by a pack of raptors, throw all your armor on the ground and embrace your inner caveman. Go commando for the ultimate mobility. And worst case, if you do die, at least you saved your armor's durability. Now, speaking of raptors, they're really just big, misunderstood puppies. Approach them with open arms and they may just embrace your face with their teeth. You may even become their next chew toy. Now, if you find yourself in a sticky situation and you need to get out fast, just eat organic polymer for a quick reset button back to base. Think of it as a culinary teleportation device. Speaking of bases, when building, exclusively use thatch. That way, when it gets inevitably destroyed or raided, rebuilding your dream home is only a weekend DIY project. Like I said earlier, you die a lot in Ark, and if you're tired of dying to giant predators as they run you down like Rexes or Raptors, then just swim in the water. They can't get you out there. Just don't look down and be careful with what's nibbling on your toes. Now, on a more lighthearted note, if you like long walks on the beach, then the Carbonemus is your best friend. No other creature will give you the same experience this giant turtle can when you're mounted and trying to go somewhere. Now, speaking of the beach, do not ever build a bed, ever. A hike from the beach upon respawning to your base is a great way to keep you in top physical shape while reminding yourself of the bad life choices that led to your inevitable demise. You should always, I repeat, always get attached to your dinos. That way it hurts even more when they dramatically die 5 minutes later. This is easily the quickest way to understand Ark. Speaking of dramatic experiences, name your very first dino on every playthrough after your ex-best friend. When Ark gobbles them up, what would typically become grief will quickly turn into satisfaction. Do not go out during the day. You should only travel at night so you won't see what's killing you and you'll have fewer nightmares about it in the morning. Now, a great building tip is to build your base entirely out of glass. That way you can see threats coming from every direction. If you are running low on stamina while flying, just jump off. It's the ultimate insurance policy against your flyer landing in a bad spot. Just make sure they're not set to follow you. Now, we slightly already discussed this, but you should remember, carnivores are just misunderstood herbivores who only eat you because they care. They care about not going hungry. Lystros have a face that only a mother could love, so they're typically only recruited for their experience buff, but they're also emotional support pets. Give one a head pat before heading out on adventurous danger for an instant confidence boost, and if you die, you may just feel slightly less annoyed because of this adorable little flip. If you see a creature and it moves, you can bola it. You can throw a bola at anything and everything, and it will deal 1 damage in total. Just know that bolas do not stop every creature in its tracks. Speaking of bolas, did you know you can actually throw bolas at the remote C4, and only 2 of them will make them go boom? Cave-in can be challenging, and getting mega rabies is the absolute worst thing. There's nothing worse than watching your health rapidly decline knowing that you will eventually die a painful death. If you want to avoid dying a slow and painful death, just snack on some organic polymer. You'll solve the problem in an instant. If you want to cross a big gap, you could build structures, or you could tame some brontos and build platform saddles. Who needs engineering when you have massive dinosaurs? Ark can be very lonely when playing solo. If you're ever feeling lonely, find a rare flower and eat it. You'll gather attention faster than celebrities at the red carpet. Did you know that if you invest all your points into oxygen, you'll never drown again? Just know that you probably won't live long enough to use all that oxygen. If you are tired of your inventory being constantly cluttered and want to get it organized, just hit drop all. Boom. You've got room for all the shiny new things you desire. Now, if you want to save resources on your base, just build it with 1 wall. Nothing bad ever happened to someone who took shortcuts. If you're looking to build a cheap homing missile, strap C4 to a Dimorphodon. They'll die with honor and you blow up your target. It's a win-win situation. Now, if you want to level up quickly in Ark, just breed together 2 parents. Then breed their kids with their parents, then with their grandchildren, and then repeat this for many generations of creatures. Then destroy all their children. Who knew power could come from mass extinction? You know, this is starting to sound like a superhero movie. You know, speaking of strange things and the things we do with our tames, if you're low on food, consider eating your tame creatures. They're basically the world's easiest snack. Now, if you want creatures you're trying to tame to stay knocked out longer without wasting any narcotics, just hit them with a club. It's the best way to save one of those precious narcotic items. When you are faced with danger, disguise yourself as a brush. If that doesn't work out and you still get eaten, at least you were the best looking bush around. In the early game, you should always bring a Moss Chops and a Gigantopithecus on dangerous adventures. If you're in trouble, the Moss Chops will flee, creating a glorious distraction while the monkey throws you to safety. Just consider these 2 the ultimate sacrificial bodyguards. To save Save on ammunition, melee creatures with your crossbow or your rifle. It's a resource-saving strategy that will definitely help with resource management. Now, if you like to take things slow in Ark and don't want to progress at all and prefer to tame useless creatures, a fish basket is your best friend. I mean, look at that collection of creatures. It is quite common to lose your tames in Ark, and if your favorite tame is about to become a dino snack, just eat a rare mushroom. You'll be blinded to the tragedy happening right in front of you. Some of us have quite a bit of time invested into Ark, so for a reminder of how soul-sucking Ark can be, just look in the mirror. You won't even get a reflection back. Speaking of wasting time, if you ever want to waste even more time in Ark, just plant berries and crop plots and wait for them to grow. It is the ultimate exercise in patience and disappointment wrapped up into one tedious activity. Now lastly, if you want to reenact exactly what you're doing in real life and just waste a whole bunch of time, craft a chair and sit down, staring at a wall for hours. Oh wait, that's what I'm doing right now.